Okay, so actually, let's dive deeper into that, right? So you're saying you think Bitcoin can go to what again? Kind of delve deeper into your
I think
reasoning behind why
that maybe
Bitcoin can grow.
I think 20,000, and I think it'll eventually hit 60,000 and maybe hit a peak of 150,000, and then it'll fall maybe between 60 and 120,000. But I think that the next bubble we're looking at, I think it's going to hit 20,000 before like 17, 18, 19, 20, somewhere in that range. And that's when we're going to see a massive inrush of people
What time frame
back
do you
into
have for that?
crypto. It looks like it's happening now, but I can never tell if it's going to be September or January or
Hmm.
March. But what I'm seeing is, I think that the governments are, there's a lot of crap going on. Like, I think they're lying about some of the recovery. Like, they're saying housing prices are going up. And how do you have housing prices going up if half the people are defaulting on their mortgage, and you have 140 million people unemployed or not working, and everyone is trying to sell their house because they need cash to survive, and they're in Australia locked in their house, right? They can't go outside, and massive defaults, and they're saying that, oh, the real estate price is going up, and it's like in the media, and they just don't want people to panic and everyone to rush on the market and try to sell their house immediately, because they think that the market's gonna that this depression is gonna last 5 or 10 years, right? So I think that what's happening, so right now the media is trying to say everything's okay, it's just going to bounce, don't worry, but we've only started the crisis. The real crisis comes when the debt starts defaulting, and that will cause a depression in the economy, and we might have a banking crisis where we have another bail-in like 2008. So this is going to be really horrible. But when that happened in 2008, that's one of the triggers that sent Bitcoin from, we went from $1 to $1,000. A lot of it was the response to what happened in Cyprus when the government came in and they just took everyone's money out of their bank accounts as ours, right?
Yeah.
So um, I think that there's a lot of political and economic events that are going to occur. Like, the government is going to print up a huge amount of money for stimulus to try to keep it going and sort of soften the depression. And that's going to be, and most of that money is going to be going into the financial markets, the stocks and bonds and crypto. And I think that the corporate debt and equities are both going to suffer a crisis at the same time. So and then people are going to start looking at alternative assets like altcoins and things like that, because some of these altcoins you can get 100% return, or 10%. These investors are looking for 10% of return, but they can get 100% or 100x return in some of these assets in crypto. So they're putting a little bit of money in there, and a lot of but basically this crisis is going to push a lot of money out of the housing markets, out of bonds, out of equities, and then where's it going to go? Because if you remember, it's going to go into crypto, it's going to go into altcoins, and we're going to see uh, probably the biggest financial bubble in human history. I think that's going to trigger. I think that I wouldn't be surprised if the altcoin market cap, Bitcoin market cap, if we saw trillions, like 1 trillion, 2 trillion, 3 trillion, at the minimal. Um,
Yeah.
Especially when people are rushing out of these other assets.
I mean, so as we say here,
shut up and take my money. Shut up and take my money.
Bitcoin at $1 trillion?
Shut up and take my money.
Not financial advice.